Let's see what this Squid Game thing is about then.
수비자는 두 발로, 산 밖의 공격자는 깽깽이 발로 움직여야 한다. 하지만 공격자가 기회를 노려 오징어의 허리를 가로지.
Not too bad, right? I mean, personally, I was fairly pleased with it. Obviously, a few things that we would improve for next time, but overall, quite happy with the performance. But yeah, what is going on, guys? It's your boy JC. Hope you are doing well. Obviously, it wasn't actually a short film. It was just me getting some practice in, just doing some lighting practice, some not really storytelling practice, but I added in a story into it just so it wasn't a complete boring thing of just scene by scene by scene. That was just something connecting all of the different scenes. But yeah, it was just me getting some practice in. As I say, on all of these kind of breakdowns, on being on set isn't the time to try new things, to experiment. That is the wrong time to do it, especially when you have clients there waiting for you to get the shot or paying you by the hour. They don't want you to be experimenting and things potentially going wrong. You're on a time crunch, you're on a time schedule. So when you do have some free time, that is the perfect time to do things like this, where you can just practice your lighting, practice your color grading, practice your storytelling, whatever it is. This is the time to do that. And that's exactly what I've done. So we're going to break it down. We're going to break down scene by scene and look what I could improve, what I liked, what I disliked, how I actually lit some of the scenes, and go from there. So I'll start off by explaining the whole short piece. Essentially, it's just me procrastinating from a client project that I need to do, procrastinating so long that when it comes to deadline day, I finally get around to doing it, but Premiere Pro crashes. That's pretty much it. Nothing, like no crazy story, no real thing. The point of it was me to practice actual lighting techniques, different ideas, but I thought, let me add in a story just so it's more interesting to watch. But yeah, we'll start off with the first scene, which is my favorite and probably going to be most popular that I see in the comments from people I've shown already. This is their favorite kind of scene. So yeah, let's break this down. So first off, we can see, if we get the brush, we can see we have lights up here and a light here. Those are the only lights in the scene. Me obviously here, setting the scene of me in a gamer type RGB type room playing my Xbox. That's literally it. Very, very easy scene. So to break it down, we have obviously the main lights filling the room. You can see this blue, not really teal, but yeah, this nice blue color filling the room. That is from these nanolite power tubes up here. And then as you can see here, this big kind of ball of light, one is caused from the haze. So I put quite a bit of haze in the room just to create an atmosphere and to have it where the screen is lighting me, but this isn't actually a screen. And when you do really look at it, you can tell it's not a screen because a screen wouldn't be lighting behind the monitor. So what I did is just place like a 2-foot RGB tube right behind this, just out of frame, just behind this, but I angled it where it looks like it's the screen that's providing this light, just to make it more thin, because when I had it without it, the room was very flat. It was just all blue. There was no contrasting colors. There was nothing else. The screen wasn't providing enough light. So I thought, let me put this there to kind of add that one contrasting color so I can have something else in my face, just to create some sort of interest. So it's not just all blue and all shadows, but two, to make the screen actually almost like a key light. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just haze and 3 RGB tubes. That's all I used. The same thing for this one. So I did slightly mess up here, and the continuity wasn't quite there, because as you can see, this is almost like a reddish tone now coming from this light. So when I was bringing down the intensity of the light, obviously must have changed the hue and saturation of that color. So it was no longer the kind of orange tone. It kind of went to this red one, which at the time while I was filming, I didn't actually realize. Looking at this, I probably could change it in post, but that's just kind of how it came out. And then nothing else changed in the room. All of this is obviously from the Pavo tube, but you can see the kind of glow just because of the haze in the room, just so it's more atmospheric. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I only really need to go through those 2 stills, because that's all I really changed. You know, I didn't need to do much lighting. There was no main lamp. There was no like anything else other than those 3 RGB tubes that lit this whole scene. So overall, quite pleased with the scene, how it came out. It did kind of come out exactly how I wanted it to. I just wanted to try something from what I saw earlier that week, which was this here. Jacob Owens was lighting, I can't remember what they were doing, but this was the still that I saw, which kind of gave me the inspiration to try something like this, as there's a project coming up, which is going to be kind of a dark, moody kind of thing that I know I'm going to be doing. So I thought, let me try and implement this. So that is scene 1. Next we have scene 2, which is kind of like a living room, midday or early afternoon scene. Me just chilling on my phone, then going to Netflix again while procrastinating from doing the work that I know I need to do. This was lit a bit differently to how I first imagined, but there were a few complications that I did kind of overcome. So first off, I do have this main light, a key light coming onto me from here. Actually, before I get into that, I'll just show you the top down. So here I am sat here. I had the nan light 4-300 pointing down onto me here. The wide shot was taken from around here, and then I had a nan light Pavo tube set to, I think it's 5600 Kelvin, just to give the room a general lift, as when the key light was on me, the room was just a bit too moody, like it was almost like a spotlight just on me. So I didn't really like that. It didn't look natural with the whole room. So I just added this one in at 100% power just to give the room some room tone. And outside I did have another Pavo tube set to like a much warmer hue, I think, if I bring this back. Yeah, so you can see out here is just that kind of orange glow, just to give something more, so it isn't just white everywhere on all the walls. I don't want to add any other color, because then it would look quite unnatural. Like, what would be in a hallway? Why is your hallway glowing orange, glowing purple or something? So I put something orange where it's just like almost like a house light, fairly natural, and it matches this lamp that we do have here. I was going to make this almost like a motivating key light, but then again, it kind of took away from being the daytime scene. So really, this wasn't necessarily needed, but it just added a bit more interest. So yeah, we had the key light coming in from here, the other light in that hallway, Pavo tube just out of frame here, giving the room just a bit of fill. That's pretty much it for this shot. That's how I lit this shot. So this was obviously the wide shot going in to where we had this shot here. This was the close up of that same shot. I would change is this here. As you can see, when you really zoom in, and when you see it in the scene, you're not necessarily thinking much. But when you zoom in here, you can see the big ring, the big softbox that is lighting me. So if I was doing this again, I would try and shape the light. So whether I'd use like a 4x4, because obviously here the TV is motivating light, not just a softbox. So having a ring, having an octagon from the softbox makes it quite obvious that it's not an actual TV lighting me, it's a softbox. So I would do something just to shape that light, just to, really fine tune those details of when people look at your eye, they can see a light, but they can't see it's a softbox, not making it obvious that you are lit by an external source, if that makes sense. But yeah, how this shot kind of came out was fine. Didn't even need to use neg. All I did was just turn off that light that was giving me the fill, just so this was more of an interesting shot with, you know, me shooting onto the shadow side, having that contrast from light to dark. And the final scene, this scene, I don't think many people believe how I actually managed to light this, because I used a tiny little LED light and a salt lamp, which was just, yeah, was just there on the shelf. So I was at my girlfriend's house, didn't plan to actually record this. I had my camera for whatever reason, but I didn't plan to record a scene until we were sitting there. It got quite dark, and I thought, I wonder what I could make with literally just this tiny LED light. And yeah, this was it. So if you go to the wide first, you can see up here, obviously, is where the light comes in, and that light is the small LED that was placed on top of the window. That's coming in, not necessarily a key light, but it is the moonlight of the room, contrasting with the orange glow from the salt lamp, which you see here. This is down here. So yeah, all I did use was this salt lamp here. That's not even a light. It's not even a light. It's literally just a thing that glows, pretty much. It doesn't really provide that much light unless it's very dark. What I did actually mess up though on this scene was my camera settings. One, I shot it in 1080, and two, I should have went into the second dual base ISO, because when I was actually editing, I saw it was quite grainy when I was in like the midpoint, like 3000-ish or something around there. And what I noticed from the FX3 is it's very clean at 640 up to around 1250. Then from there, it starts to deteriorate. It's still very usable at that point. But from there, when you get in the kind of midsection, anywhere under 12,800 and probably 3,000, that's when I think you may as well just go all the way up to the cleaner base of 12,800 and up your f-stop or put an ND on, just do something else. But it's cleaner going to 12,800 than it is at the midpoint. But yeah, so that is the scene here. So for this, I actually used one more light to light me. So obviously we had the main key light coming onto me here, the key light, that small LED. I had the glow from here, but my face was a bit too dark. So what I did on my phone, I turned it to full brightness and just blasted that at me, just so my face is a bit more visible. You can actually see something. And usually I would obviously not necessarily have the key light the same side I'm shooting, but because it is so dark, it didn't really look too dark. It didn't too flat anyway, especially having this orange glow from the salt lamp, like shooting on the lighter side here, it doesn't necessarily look that flat in my opinion anyway. But yeah, I did end up going on the other side as well, which usually I don't do again, crossing the line. But yeah, it did kind of work out. So for something that's so small, like if I get the light now, I'm using it. This tiny little LED here was what is providing all of that key light coming onto here. So obviously the room's very dark, it doesn't need much because it was even at 100%. But yeah, that was how I filmed that last scene. Yeah, I mean, there's no point me going over this scene here because there was no light used at all. It was purely a cloudy day, really nice. Everything was nice and soft. I just got my girlfriend to help me with some of the shots. But other than that, for the other 3 scenes, everything was shot by myself, which is very long. I really do. You know, when people are filming by themselves, you got to respect it, because going up and down, back and forth, checking exposure, moving something out of frame, and doing this back and forth, it is very long. But it's all worth it when you get that practice in. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. If you do have any questions on any of the scenes, let me know down below. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, but I'm going to start to focus on something. So on each practice, I may do something like I'll focus on a certain style of lighting or a certain style of color grading, maybe a certain composure, that's not right. What's the word I'm looking for? Composition. There we go. A certain composition in the frame is what I'll be focusing on. So yeah, just different things. So it's not just like a general practice, but I will be focusing on specific areas so I can obviously improve. And again, it just helps when it is time to go to a client, to actually one, show them new things, and two, when you're on set, you know exactly what you're doing. You don't need to let me try this, let me try that, or I wonder how I can get this effect. You know exactly how to do it because you put that practice in. But with that being said, if you have got a lesson, laugh, or a light bulb moment from this video, I would really appreciate it if you could drop a like down below, and if you're feeling extra nice, you could hit that subscribe button. But yeah, that's all from me, so I will catch you in the next one. See ya.
Okay. Hands up if you feel me now. If you know what I'm talking about. Ain't no need